A new Grand Theft Auto 6 article has just been published, and it sort of gives us a development update, at least the timeline of where Rockstar might be, from one of their former employees. We'll be talking about all of that and more in this video today. So the article comes from Sky News, and that's appropriate because Sky News is a Europe and European-based news outlet, and we know that Rockstar Games was founded in Edinburgh, Scotland, and so it kind of makes sense that they would be doing the interview. The title of the article from Brad Young: How Chaotic Gang of British Geeks Launched One of the Most Lucrative Franchises of All Time. Grand Theft Auto started in an unremarkable industrial estate in Dundee and went on to become one of the world's biggest games. This is how it happened. And I will, of course, leave a link to the article in the description. The person that they are interviewing is former Grand Theft Auto, or I should say DMA designer, Keith Hamilton. They actually showed a photo of him in 1996 racing one of his cars with a DMA Designs license plate, which is fairly cool. And in the article, they talk about Keith's early days at DMA Designs, which became Rockstar Games, and how they created the first couple of Grand Theft Autos. What I want to focus on is Grand Theft Auto 6, though. So they give a little background for those that have never played the GTA series, saying it sold 430 million copies with its most recent edition. It's the third most popular game of all time. But then they go on to say this: there were 15 editions released between 1997 and 2013, followed by 12 years of silence. But now the wait is almost over, with publisher Rockstar promising the launch of Grand Theft Auto 6 this autumn. So far, there's only been one trailer, published 16 months ago. It's getting ridiculous how long it's been since the last one, Keith says. They really have to get something out, so they will be under a lot of pressure, because the value, the importance of GTA to the parent company, Take-Two, is gigantic. In fact, the last game in the franchise is the most profitable entertainment release ever of all time in any medium. So its success goes well beyond the world of video games. So even former Rockstar Games employees and developers are realizing that it's been ridiculous that it's been nearly 500 days since Rockstar talked about or even uttered the word Grand Theft Auto 6. But they can only imagine how much pressure they're under, especially due to their parent company, Take-Two Interactive. And we've talked about over the last couple of days and weeks that Rockstar essentially is under a deadline here, that by the beginning of May, they essentially have to provide an update on the fate of GTA 6. Will it be staying in fall 2025? Will it be delayed? They will have to answer those questions sooner rather than later, as the May deadline approaches for Take-Two Interactive's earnings call that'll happen that month. Now, the article goes on to talk about several other topics: how the first couple of Grand Theft Auto games changed the industry, like Grand Theft Auto 3 coming with the biggest technical jump, going from the 2D era to the 3D era, how Grand Theft Auto 5 essentially blew things out of proportion and has allowed Rockstar to invest 12 years to make the next Grand Theft Auto game, GTA 6. But then they go on to say this: goal to push the limits with long-awaited GTA 6. Much of GTA 6 is still shrouded in mystery. Friends at publisher Rockstar won't even spill their secrets to Keith. Sam Hauser, founder of Rockstar Games, said in December, the sequel will push the limits of what's possible in highly immersive, story-driven open-world experiences. And in February 2022, Rockstar put out on social media, our goal is to always significantly move beyond what we've previously delivered. Going on to say the game itself will already be finished. Keith says staff will be working all hours trying to increasingly fix complicated bugs. The pressure will be on the development team right now. I don't envy them. I'm hoping they're not stuck in that sort of scenario for too long, because that becomes soul destroying. You lose your family life and everything. So according to Keith, who has worked on many of Rockstar Games titles and Grand Theft Auto games, he says right now that the game is done. And that makes sense, because if the game were to launch, let's say in September, October, or November, it's really only like 6 to 7 months from now. You would think and you would hope that most of the game is completely finished. And at this point in time, they would just be doing bug fixes, adding the miscellaneous minor things to the game, like songs on the radio station, stuff like that. But he also goes on to talk about how that this is a really bad time to be a developer, someone that works on these video games. And this is something that Rockstar has had to publicly deal with for years now. There's been many of reports and discussions on the work-life balance and the conditions at these Rockstar Games offices that have been published over the last couple of years, especially as their games have gotten more complex and bigger, like Red Dead Redemption 2. And so many people thought that they were going to have to change this for Grand Theft Auto 6, but it certainly feels like now, when the pedal is meeting the metal, that Rockstar is going to have to say, hey, we need to really lock down here and finish up this game, especially if they don't want it to be delayed. And he goes on to say that that's an unfortunate part of creating these games, is it's a lot of extra work. Again, him calling it soul destroying, you lose your family life and everything. Now, the last little bit of the article goes on to talk about what Keith wants from the next game. He says each day will likely begin with a meeting analyzing the results of playtests, where the development team will decide which bugs to fix and which fixes could result in bigger bugs. That's the sort of call that'll be going on all the time right now. They'll be desperately playing the game, coming across some bug that's horrifically difficult to fix, Keith explains. He says he wants to see more freedom and a more complex working city in this edition, with more consequences attached to player actions rather than more tasks fed to them. But one thing remains paramount to GTA's success in Keith's view: it's important not to lose the sense of fun, he says. And there's a lot to talk about in those last couple of paragraphs right there. Gives us an idea of kind of what's going on in the Rockstar world right now, and again, a development update on the game. Essentially, what sounds like what they're doing is in bug fix mode. And that is something that I think Rockstar takes a lot of pride in, especially after the launch of the Grand Theft Auto trilogy, the Definitive Edition. That had so many bugs, issues, glitches, it was basically unplayable. And Rockstar also knows they don't want their game to be highly criticized in the first couple of days and weeks, as that is so important to a game's success. You saw what happened with the likes of Cyberpunk 2077. When that launched and it had so many bugs, it took the game years to recover, and it's super successful now, but Rockstar doesn't necessarily want that. So essentially what it sounds like they're doing at the Rockstar Games offices is they're just sitting down, playing the game, finding out what's broken, doesn't work, and saying, we got to fix this. And then wondering if them fixing that will break something else. I also like his ideas for Vice City in the state of Leonida, something more complex and moving pieces, although that does make things more difficult to ultimately develop. And I like the idea of more consequences to the players and keeping things fun. That's been sort of a topic of conversation, especially over the last year and few months. Is Rockstar Games going to go woke? Are they going to change their writing style and sense of humor and comedy based on expectations of the current world or current societal values? We don't know, but I certainly don't think Rockstar will go to that standard. But I agree with Keith. I'd like to see things stay fun. That's what makes Grand Theft Auto Grand Theft Auto. But anyways, that right there is the article. I thought it was a really, really good one. I'll leave a link to it in the description. And again, sort of gives us a development update on what the heck is going on with Rockstar from someone that worked there and someone that knows about creating a game like Grand Theft Auto 6. So again, let me know what you think about everything we discussed in those comments down below. I'd love to hear from you guys down there. If you guys did go on to enjoy this video, though, a like rating would of course be awesome. And be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new. You want to stay up to date on all the GTA 6 videos that I'll be doing here on my channel. And be sure to ring that notification bell as well. Sometimes YouTube just doesn't work, and if you ring that bell, you'll always be guaranteed to be notified when new videos arrive. But of course, as always, guys, thank you all so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video.